I'm Harry Mays. Hey, Kevin Patullo. Meet A.J. Brown. 6 receptions on 10 targets, 109 yards, and a touchdown. How you doing?
I'm Jason Myrtetus, an absolute classic. And Jordan Davis, nice to meet you.
You are Locked On Eagles Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
This Locked On Eagles squad show is brought to you by Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. Mazda, move and be moved. Jason Myrtetus, Harry Mays, Louis DiBiase will join us in just a moment. The Eagles squad show after what was just an absolute, an epic game and a tale of two halves. Harry, and I'm just going to tee you up right away. I mean, what did you just witness?
Well, you witnessed what actually happens quite often in the NFL when a team, moves the football up and down the field, but can't get touchdowns and they end up, attempting field goals. The Rams were held to 6 field goal attempts. 4 of them were converted and 2 were blocked, which is extraordinary in itself. But that's really what happens. I mean, the Rams owned this game for about 3 quarters, okay? Moving the football up and down at will, scoring opportunity after scoring opportunity, yet they were held to field goals. So you got to credit the Eagles defense coming up on third downs. You got to credit the fact that Matthew Stafford really wasn't that sharp in the game. He missed a lot of throws that were there to be had, and they ended up, attempting field goals. And when you do that in the NFL, and finally the Eagles opened up the offense and found number 11 in the second half, and all of a sudden, scoring opportunities, boom, boom, boom. You had the great play to, Goddard down the middle of the field for a touchdown. But this is all after they got A.J. Brown involved. And Fred Johnson entered the game at right tackle, which was huge. Lane Johnson going out early. This team is crippled when Lane Johnson doesn't play. But when you have, what's his face in there? Matt Pryor. He just was overwhelmed. He was overwhelmed, and they knew they had to do something else. They put Fred Johnson in there, and boom, the whole game changed.
Everything changed.
That was really it. And the Eagles survived a lot of bad field position, courtesy of the Rams kicker, who was really good at the kickoffs. And the Eagles have to really shore up this receiving of kickoffs, because it's a prop. Tank Bigsby, they had Mechie back there. Nobody really did a good job. They got to shore that up. But as good as the Rams kicker was at kickoffs, he got 2 field goals blocked when they needed him the most. So it was really an extraordinary football game.
Yeah, I mean, it was the absolute tale of two halves. Let's bring in Louis DiBiase right now. He just did his post, thoughts of this game. And I know you went Jordan Davis right away. And, I mean, you can't help but think, boy, that guy just put the Eagles on his back today. Literally, it was unbelievable. The pivotal plays that he was involved in, the 2 blocks, the 4th down. I mean, unbelievable. Louis, when you watch this game, you follow this team as close as anybody. And I guess nothing should surprise us, but I'm surprised we're sitting here talking about what we're talking about right now. I thought they were dead in the water.
I've never watched a game like that. I've never seen a team so bad in the first half. Like, that looked like the 2015 Eagles offense. I thought I was watching Sam Bradford for a minute. And then for them to look like maybe the best passing game in the NFL in the second half, and to win with back-to-back blocked field goals, it's one of the most unique games I've ever seen. And for them to do that against such a good football team in Los Angeles is, I said it on our other post-game show, that might go down as the most important game of the season, because it was the wake-up call they had to have throwing the football. And so kind of like the Tampa loss last year that taught you a lesson you took with you the rest of the year, I think this game is going to teach you a lesson too about being aggressive, about that balancing act on offense. But with Jordan Davis,
being a win.
Yeah, and luckily this time it was with a win. But yeah, I had to start the show with Jordan Davis because us three and Mark, we talked on the squad show all summer, like, can Jordan Davis take another step? Like, is there that Dexter Lawrence, Vita Vea type of step? And through 3 games, like, that's happening. I mean, 3 straight turnovers by the Rams, Jordan Davis was in on that play. So, I mean, Jalen Hurts' comeback was a huge story, but I think JD was like the biggest difference maker here.
Yeah, the thing about it is, you look at this game, you look at the second half of Jalen Hurts and them chucking the ball and A.J. Brown and all those plays, but really what Harry brought up, the first half and holding them to field goals is the only reason you had a chance.
Yeah.
The defense, once again, Vic Fangio, they gave up some, but they could have given up a lot more, Harry.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, 22 plays and 23 yards, I think they had in the first half. I mean, it's just unbelievable how anemic that offense was. And, we've been talking about this stuff, Louis, Mark, and Jason, and we've all been talking about, when is Kevin Patullo going to, start finding number 11? And finally, he found him. And
I think 11 found him, Harry, at halftime.
You think that's what happened?
I think 11 found Patullo.
I think he demanded a trade at haltime. And
you
they're
think
like,
so?
we got to get this guy the football.
Yep. I think that was the other way around there, Harry.
Yeah, maybe, possibly. I mean, but I'm looking here. There was a Bronx cheer when AJ made his first catch at 13:43 left in the third quarter. His first catch in the second half is a joke. It's an absolute joke. What are they doing? What is the game plan? I don't know if they call the first 15, but this offense was garbage.
I think they took the conservative level of play that really, I don't want to call it conservative, but that run-first approach of last year and not turning the football over, I think they really took it too far so far through I would say 2.5 games, where there's a difference between playing smart and like controlled and playing scared. I think they were playing scared. And it wasn't just Patullo's play calling. I think Jalen Hurts was gun shy. I think there were opportunities where A.J. Brown's not wide open, but
he doesn't need to be wide open.
Right. Give him an opportunity to make the play. And Jalen had so much success last year with not turning the ball over and being a game manager and it won you a title. That's kind of his new identity. But this year it turned into, instead of being like cautious and smart, it turned into playing scared. That's why I kept saying it reminded me of Sam Bradford, because everything was short of the sticks. And then he finally just said, F it, let's let it loose. Now we're down. That's why they needed to get smacked in the mouth like that and have to come back in a game, not have a lead, so Jalen could play aggressive like that again. Because you have to play like that to a degree, or everybody's going to tee off on Saquon Barkley like they've had so far this year. And in this game, Saquon doesn't even average 3 yards a pop because the passing game was not able to push them back until they did. And then look at how it opened up everything. That's why I think this game is so important, because it's going to teach them that lesson moving forward about balancing running the ball first, not turning the ball over, but also like you can't lose the explosive play battle every week either, or you're not going to win a lot of football games.
You're not going to be able to survive that way. It's like at
you
halftime,
can't.
they went in and they had the machines out when somebody's heart stopped. What do they call it? Defibrillator hack?
Yeah, defibrillator. Yeah.
They smack them together and they go, put them on, clear.
Defib.
Yeah, and they defib the heart back into a rhythm, because that's what happened. I sent you guys the text at halftime from Tim McManus. -1 passing yards for the Eagles in the first half. Hurts was 4 for 8 for 17 yards. A.J. Brown, 0 catches, 1 target.
Yeah.
And I said, unacceptable. And Harry goes, Patullo fever.
And then I told you I took the Rams plus 3.5, so I took a bad beat at the end there with Jordan Davis running that in.
And then for Hurts to finish with over 200 passing yards and 4 total touchdowns, it's just, again, it's the most Jekyll and Hyde football game I don't know if I've maybe ever watched, but it's up there. I've never, and for it to finish the way it did with back-to-back blocked field goals, that's one of the most unique football games I've ever seen.
Louis, I've seen a lot of football. Okay,
Yeah.
I've been watching football since I was 6 years old, and I watch it religiously. I have never seen what I saw today.
Okay, so that confirms it. Yeah,
That is what is great about sport.
Yes.
As much you have watched thousands of games in all sports, and you saw something today that you've never seen before. You had no idea it was coming.
Yeah,
and it was
crazy.
a tale of two halves. I mean, it's like the Frank Reich comeback?
Yeah,
game?
it was down 35-0 or something against the Oilers. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, it's like that. I mean, they were just getting.
I saw that game too.
Yeah. As a teenager. You look at it and you go, how can a team that was so poor in the first half then come out in that second half, and they just kept building confidence? Hurts ends up 21 to 32, 226, 7.1 average, 3 touchdowns, and a 117.4 rating after -1 yard in the first half, 17 yards in the first half, 4 for 8. It
might have
staggering.
He literally went from maybe the worst half of his career to one of the best.
Yeah.
I mean, he ran a touchdown in 2, by the way.
He had 4 total touchdowns. He had a clutch touchdown on 4th and goal with the game on the line.
Yeah.
I think Hurts, again, like he needed that too, because he was starting to play like the player that everybody says he is, this game manager, the system player. But I think Jalen showed you today that he isn't a system player. Like if he needs to carry you in a comeback down double-digit points against, I think, the second best team in the NFC, like he can do it. So I don't know what else you can really say about the guy. I mean, his first half was so bad. But when he decides to play like this, like he can, the people that think he cannot do it, I don't know how much more proof that you need. He just needs to have the mentality now that, like, I can play like this and not play scared. Like, you can do this, so just let it rip.
We hear him, talking to all these guys like Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods and all these dudes.
Be a killer.
Those
he was
guys
a killer
never
today.
Played scared.
Yeah,
ever,
those guys were killers. Right.
Yes.
And they loved moments like that.
Yeah, and Jalen does too. That's the one thing about Jalen, though, is like he's not always elite, but in these kind of moments when he has to be, he is. Like that 4th and goal, I just feel like he always comes through. And I love seeing the emotion, too, in him today. Like he was pacing up and down the sideline, watching the defense, which he normally doesn't do. The Goddard touchdown, he's all fired up. Like I just think this was such an important game. Like that he needed that, and the offense needed that.
Yeah. To me, the ultimate judgment of greatness for that position is the guys that can lead their team on the game-winning drive.
Yep.
You know, we look at like Stafford. I think he leads the NFL in game-winning drives.
52.
52 games.
And he led them down the field today.
He did.
He did it again.
They should have won the game.
Yeah, just like the divisional round. He led them in position.
Yeah.
How many times did Brady do it? In under 2 minutes, or Manning,
Elway.
Yeah. To me, that's
I saw them all.
Yeah, he did.
I saw them all.
Johnny U. Harry. All of them. Bart Starr.
Yeah, I saw the tail end of Unitas' career.
But you think about it, like that is the ultimate pressure cooker for a quarterback. The other team knows what you're doing. They know you have to pass the ball down the field. They knew the Eagles had to pass. They're down, and they're getting crushed, and they end up coming back in this game. And let's talk about A.J. Brown for a second, because the emotion that he showed in this game as as that alpha receiver. He ends up with 6 for 109 on 10 targets, 18.2 average, and a touchdown in the game. And he was just as big of a catalyst in the whole result as Jalen Hurts was.
And I thought Greg Olsen was really good. He's really good as an analyst. I wish Joe Davis would shut the F up, but Greg Olsen is great. And he made the point about how A.J. Brown is being asked about this constantly by the media, week after week after week, like what's going on? It sort of builds, and he had that personal foul earlier in the game in the first half. It's just sort of, it's like a volcano. Like he's got so much energy and emotion, he's taking it out, and then all of a sudden he gets a penalty. It's like that's because he's not getting the ball, and all of a sudden it's like second half, boom, number 11 becomes the focal point of the offense in that third quarter, and it totally changed the football game.
He should be the focal point of the offense.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not, I think people talk about getting him the ball. I've said it on the show before, like get him the ball so he doesn't demand a trade, because I have been nervous about that in the past. But it's not just that. Get him the football, because outside of maybe Lane Johnson and Jalen Hurts, I think he's the most valuable player on this offense. When he has games like that, that opens things up for Devontae Smith, for Saquon Barkley, for everybody else. You just got to give him a chance. And that's the thing is, even when he's not wide open, like we said earlier, you still have to give him a shot, because he's, I think, the best contested catch receiver in football right now, and statistically the best one-on-one receiver in the NFL.
He made a play, Louis, on 3rd and 10.
Yep.
I think it was in the fourth quarter.
Corners draped. It was on a game-winning drive.
And it was good coverage.
And then he shoves the corner down to the ground. He walked over him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It looked like the AI step over on Teron Lou in 2001.
Yeah.
And he had another big play a few plays later where he turns upfield, gets them into the red zone. Yeah, I don't know, again, the hesitation to have him involved.
Yeah.
It's like if it's not wide open, for some reason they just weren't pulling the trigger. But For AJ too, that was massive, because if he didn't get involved and this did start to build and he kept getting those questions, the frustration would eventually boil over, and that's when you get into those kind of conflicts. So this was an important game for
Then you're doing push-ups and sit-ups in your driveway,
right.
and
then you get a TO
thing,
thing,
New Jersey.
Yeah, he's like, and it's like, all right, you guys wanted me to become the villain. Well, now I am.
Yep.
So this kind of, I think, diffused. I think we can put that to rest for a little bit, at least. I hope.
Well, they got to keep it up too. I mean, there's no reason not
Tampa next week.
Sure, him
on the road.
The vaunted September Tampa game. I feel like they get screwed with this every year. I'm so sick of it.
Hot as F.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's why they needed this win, because that game just always bites them in the butt.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was absolutely incredible today, and his ability to go up and fight for balls, the ability after the catch you saw today too, and that play that you just mentioned, and to me, for him not to have been featured, going all the way into this game, into the late in the third quarter again for the second time this season that's happened is almost disturbing. And the only reason we can get over it is because of the outcome and the Jekyll and Hyde
field goals.
Yeah, I mean, we got to talk about that. Let's take our first break, and we'll come back and we'll talk about those 2 blocks. I know you mentioned it, Louis, in your remarks. I don't ever remember a double block field goal. 2 of them.
It was a double doink, but now it's the double block.
Yeah, I remember the double doink. It was against the Bears, right?
Yep.
I remember that, but I mean, 2 blocked field. And I thought the second one, there's no way. We'll get into it. There's a lot to get into in this game as the Eagles move to 3-0 over the LA Rams. It's not only another win to go to 3-0, it's also another conference win.
NFC win.
An NFC win, which
to get the 1 seed.
And the Packers lost.
Yep, this was a big game for the NFC standings.
Yep, huge game for the Eagles.
How about them Browns? They blocked a field goal too.
No, what a weird day in the NFL. Take our first time out. We're back after this. It's the Locked On Eagles Squad Show after an Eagles victory. Back after this. All right, let me tell you about PrizePicks. Wow, the football today was so insane. It's almost like you got to catch your breath now. And this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. Now, you and we make decisions every day. But on PrizePicks, being right means cashing in. It means money in the key account. With football back and crazier than ever, PrizePicks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes, all in less than 60 seconds. And the big part, you got to stay tuned. If you had Jalen Hurts in your play this week for more or less, things change dramatically in the second half of that game. It makes it crazy. You think, I'm out of it on this one. And then all of a sudden, boom, a second half like that happens, and you're right back in the mix. I've been playing PrizePicks lately, and it's a fun way to stay locked in, not only for the entirety of the game, but the entirety of the season. And today, there is no better example than that. Quick, easy, and honestly, one of my favorite ways to follow along with football. You check the projections for the big name players like Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, or Saquon Barkley, or A.J. Brown. And boom, you follow those guys a little bit closer. Patrick Mahomes is another guy that you'll follow from time to time. PrizePicks, so easy to navigate, easy to use, easy to understand. You got to download it. So download the PrizePick app today and use the code LOCKEDONNFL. And what's that going to get you? That's going to get you $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. What a discount. That's the code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. All right, let's get into the block field goals and the pivotal second half defensive plays in this game. It wasn't only that the Eagles were down, and the offense had to wake up in the second half, but they also had to limit the Rams' ability to score. One more point by the Rams, and it wasn't going to happen. And to shut them down in the second half, to me, is as remarkable as the 2 blocked field goals and to have, 26 unanswered points to win the game? Mm-hmm. To me, that's incredible. That's just another part of this story that I think probably will get overlooked.
They outscored the Rams 26-7 in the second half.
Yeah.
I mean,
unbelievable.
That's the thing about this football team is even when it's not pretty, they just always do it when they have
find
to.
A way.
And I thought that 2017, 2018, 2019 run, that core showed a lot of resolve, and like they would always deal with injuries and were able to find a way at the end of the year to make it happen, win a championship, find a way to sneak into the playoffs. But what this core is doing like tops that. I don't know if it's because they all went to Georgia and Alabama and they're so battle tested by going to multiple Super Bowls in Philly, but even though they're such a young football team still, it just feels like they're never shook. Like, again, the 2 blocked field goals perfectly represent that. I mean, for them to pull that off is, and it's the same guys. I was in awe that, and for JD to then pick the ball up and score.
Yeah, that was a problem. I didn't like that.
Jordan Davis of last year is not doing that.
I didn't need that.
Oh, he gets caught easily.
I actually didn't need that.
Make the sprint.
Yeah, this 26 pounds cost me some money today. But anyway, no, but you bring up a great point, Louis. You think about the core of this team, offensively and defensively, a lot of these guys, Alabama, Georgia guys, think about how many big games that they have played in their career.
Yeah.
Okay. And like every game that Alabama and Georgia plays is the biggest game for their opponent. Right. Every week.
They're never shook. Yeah.
They're never shook. Exactly. And they're coached hard. By those coaches coach them hard, and the Eagles like coaches are coaching them hard. Like exactly. Yep. So it's kind of like, it's just a normal week for them, and that is a big deal.
It's not overwhelming.
Yeah,
they're not overwhelmed by the moment, and they're used to being on the biggest stage in the biggest moments with the most to lose, seemingly. Mm-hmm. I totally agree with you, Harry. I think that there's a been there, done that, even at a different level. Is a huge difference.
It's a championship mentality that has been kind of galvanized a lot earlier than before they got to be an Eagle. You know what I mean? They kind of already had it.
And it's been built up with the Eagles because they've made it to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years, and I think you can tell they've won titles based on how they responded today. There are a lot of teams in the NFL that when they're down, what was it, 26-7 at some point? I mean, like they're done. Most teams are done in that moment. Yeah, especially it wasn't just that they were down 26-7. That was like the worst passing output I've seen by this football team in maybe a decade. Like it was horrible.
They got booed off the field at halftime.
Yeah, and it could have been 35-7.
Right. It's not like they just got a little bit better in the second half and they got in the game. Like they were elite in the second half passing the football. The fact that they could just have that switch, like there's a lot of football teams that don't just have that kind of switch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you don't want to live that way because eventually it will bite you. You got to wait.
It's not sustainable.
Yeah, it's a
no. Then you have 2023 on your hands.
Yeah.
It's so important. I think like that's the culture thing. Like these players that come from Alabama, Georgia, that they're used to that culture and expectation of perfection, and having 1 or 2 losses in a collegiate season is failure. Right. And in the NFL, it's different. But you come here to the Eagles, and their culture is we do things the right way. If you're going to come here and you want to be a part of it and contribute to it, you got to be on time. You got to be a pro, and there is no excuses. And when young players can learn that very early in college and then bring that to the pros, they're not overwhelmed by it. And I think that is a very real thing. Eagles end up winning the time and possession battle in the game. What was the snap count for Jordan Davis today, Louis? Because, we've been monitoring that. I didn't know if he was going to have enough gas to get to the end zone at the end.
Yeah, I don't have the specific number, but he played the majority of the football game. Like they were running a lot of 3-man fronts on the interior with him, Ajoma, and Carter. So he played the majority of the game. And for him to, again, like I know Harry was joking about like not scoring the touchdown on the field goal, but for him to be able to still do that on the final play and have that kind of conditioning, like again, incredible. The Jordan Davis of 2022 to 2024,
no shot.
Is not doing that.
Shot.
It wasn't just the 3 turnovers he was a part of in the fourth quarter, but how about the chase down of Matt Stafford? It's 3rd and 2. Stafford's rolling to his left. JD's in the middle of the field, and he meets him at the sidelines, and the Rams have to punt. Like that was another possession in the second half. They didn't score points because of Jordan Davis.
Now,
great
Matt
point.
Stafford runs like Pat Burrell. But still,
it
was a nice rundown by the big guy. Okay, he's like a Pat Burrell.
It's like watching Peyton Manning run. It was painful to watch.
Jalen Hurts had 17 yards passing at halftime. He ended up with 226.
Has there ever been a more lopsided passing? I don't know if I've ever seen that in my entire life.
It's really crazy.
Somebody that bad in the first half and that good in the second half.
Yeah, and here's another win. Like we talk about, the Super Bowl where Jalen Hurts, just overwhelmed the Chiefs without really a lot of contribution from Saquon Barkley. Barkley didn't have a bust out game at all this week.
They did a
really good job on him. The Rams
he missed a key block.
He dropped a big pass too.
Yep, dropped a bad pass.
Second and
10
10
block
yeah.
too.
He missed it.
Oh yeah.
And I don't blame him fully because Matt Pryor was getting destroyed and he felt the need to go help chip Jared Verse, but he missed his assignment.
Hurts
That's how the strip
blasted
sack
on that play.
I couldn't believe he didn't lose the ball. I thought
he got blasted on a couple plays.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
You look at it, a number that inside the numbers that matter in this game, the Eagles were 4 for 5 on 4th down in the game.
Yeah.
What
were they in the red zone?
In the red zone, I think they've been perfect in the red zone all season.
Well, they were coming into the game, so and
I think they were again today.
Okay, because I know.
I remember Greg Olson mentioning it.
The Rams absolutely weren't.
Hurts was sacked 4 times for 24 yards. Eagles got to Stafford once.
Lane Johnson, I think, is clearly the second most valuable player to this team. I mean, anytime he's out, you notice how completely different and huge of the Eagles to make the switch to Fred Johnson in the fourth quarter, as you guys were talking about earlier. Good on Howie Roseman for trading for him in August because they would have been in trouble. Like if this, we'll see what happens with this neck injury, but if he misses some time, and we'll see, but they would have been in a lot of trouble with Matt Pryor at right tackle. I mean,
There's no way they win that game.
No, absolutely not.
Way.
So, but that's what happens every time. And eventually you're going to have to replace Lane Johnson. But anytime he's not in the football game, there is just such a significant drop-off. He is so clearly outside of the quarterback. Yeah. To me, the second best and most valuable player still at his age on this team.
Is he the best right tackle of all time?
You could make the argument he's the best tackle of all time statistically. Like he's that
the numbers are mind-boggling.
The numbers are pretty damn
without
him
in the lineup.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that takes away from him is that he's on the right side.
Right.
It's not the QB's blind side, but it is staggering the Eagles' success with and without him.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. He's a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer.
Juergens got a little overwhelmed today in a couple of plays. He had a couple of holding calls, and he was getting
the Rams' pass rush is good.
Thrown around a little bit. Yeah.
That's one of the best pass rushes in the NFL, and they're young and fast and they're deep. So,
but it better be good because their secondary stinks.
Right, they're kind of a one-trick pony on defense, but props to them even for shutting Saquon down. Like they stacked the box. The fact that he averaged 2.6 yards a carry today, even with the passing game being as bad as it was, I was surprised of how just anemic or abysmal the running game was. But again, that's part of it. When the passing game has no threat to push the ball past 10 yards,
you can stack it.
You're going to put 9 guys in the hole, and it's. You're not going to waver from that. So
when you look at the defense, and they're not going to even be really remembered much in this game. It's going to be the blocks of the special teams, the second half performance of A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts. When you look at the and in particular the secondary, safeties, corners, who stuck out in this game for you, either positive or negatively?
Blankenship. Making that play, making that play in the end zone with his back to the ball, sticking his right forearm up there into Devontae Adams' face and knocking that ball away. That was
just enough not to get called.
That was a huge play.
I also think Quinyon Mitchell quietly had a really good perforance.
Yeah,
I think
when you don't hear his name at all,
he was isolating on Devontae Smith all day.
He was following Adam. He was following Devontae Adams a lot today.
I'm sorry.
Only 3 catches for 56 yards and a touchdown, and most of those yards came on the touchdown catch, which was on Reed Blankenship. Q had a really nice coverage on one of those final drives. Adams got deep down the right sideline. Stafford gave him a chance, but Q was right in his hip pocket. So I think Mitchell had another good performance too. So I think the one problem though, and we were saying this on the show a couple weeks ago, that CB3 spot, I kept saying it's going to come back to haunt them in a big moment at some point. And it did in that final drive. Like, they kept targeting Ja'Cory Bennett. And there's just nothing you can do because you got to cover Devontae Adams too. So Quinyon can't shadow Nakua. He can't cover 2 guys. Right. And I guess you could put Coop on him, but then their third receiver beat Bennett too. So whether it's Adoree Jackson, Bennett, just feels like whoever they refuse to put Ringo on the field. So whatever they do,
what is going on with that? Because he's your guy. What is happening?
I don't know. I'm at a loss. The fact that they're just not
Vic
considering
Fangio
how bad
doesn't like him. He
just might not trust him at all because Jackson and Bennett have not been good. And yet Ringo still can't see the field.
It's unbelievable.
That's still a spot I am nervous about because without a blocked field goal, that position almost cost you the win.
Yeah.
So
because Puka Nakua is an animal. I mean, you talked about him.
Oh yeah,
on our midweek squad.
11 for 112 in this game.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I'd be good too.
Yeah, he had 18 receptions on 20 targets coming into the game.
Right.
Yeah. That's some serious efficiency. You got to wonder if Howie does something here because
I think he has to.
It's too consequential.
Now, who's out there?
Well, that's
I don't know. I mean, a trade.
Howie
maybe.
finds somebody.
But this, I just know, like in the playoffs, there's going to be a moment again like this, and you can't hide that player.
No.
So Isaiah Rodgers, by the way, today had a pick 6 in Minnesota, so that was
Did
tough
he really?
to watch. Yeah. So that was tough to swallow while watching Ja'Cory Bennett almost cost you the game.
I wonder why Vic Fangio doesn't like Gilly Ringo. I've always said you can judge how a coach feels about a player. Don't ever listen to his words and what he says about a player.
It's about the actions.
How they use them.
Yeah.
And he won't put them on the field. Tells you. And when you see Bennett and anybody else there struggling, you know he's got no trust.
I don't think he trusts him in zone coverage.
We already know. He's got
I
no
don't think he trusts him in zone coverage. I think he sees Ringo as a stiffer corner that misses tackling angles a lot. But the problem is so do Bennett and Jackson. So at least Ringo has certain clear positive traits that those two don't. Like elite long-range speed and length. Like, at least he'll make some pop plays, whereas these guys get beat and they don't do anything special. I think Ringo, like, there'll be a lot of good and bad, but with these two, it just feels like it's bad. So I just don't see why not give him a chance. I think Howie wants them to give him a chance, but at this point, a spade's a spade. Fangio doesn't trust him, so I think you got to trade for some. I don't know who it is, but...
What was Adoree Jackson's injury today? Does anybody know?
I don't.
I'll have to check on that.
I don't know.
Cooper DeJean led the team in tackles with 9, 5 solo.
Dude,
Jahad
Zach
Campbell
Bond
with
was
8.
all over the place,
He was.
especially in the first half.
He was unbelievable in the first half.
He was incredible in the first half. I mean, he to me was instrumental in holding the Rams to a couple.
He looked
of
like Urlacher to me today.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Jackson's injury was a groin, by the way.
Oh, groin? Okay. Well, that's soft tissue. That could last a while.
Yeah.
You ask Jason about the goalies with the groins.
Yeah,
I mean,
it takes forever.
Slow aging corner, and now is a groin injury. That doesn't sound great.
It's one of those things that you just never have trust in it again.
Yeah.
And the explosive, so much of your explosion comes from there. It's one of those ones that can just hamper you all year. You're just constantly treating it.
Yeah.
I thought Bond today.
Oh.
Like, I was wondering about him coming into the season. I was like, it was just kind of
to
one
back it up.
to
back it up. Yeah.
Yep.
Is he really what we saw last year?
Yeah.
Is that just the flash of
He
everything
is.
just lined
Nope,
up?
he's
He
just
is.
as good, if not
Sideline.
better.
He is. Yeah.
It's
just
unbelievable.
all
This
over the
former
place.
edge rusher is just like a top 2 coverage linebacker in
It's
the NFL
unbelievable.
Now. The way he closes in on and reads routes over the middle, like that
That's
pick.
the thing.
Yeah. It really
He
is.
had like 2 other forcing completions in the first half. It's one of the craziest stories. And I was with you, Jason. I was wondering, I didn't think he was going to regress to the point where he's not a starter anymore, but I didn't think he was going to be like an all-pro caliber player. I think right now he's a first-team all-pro again. At least through 3 games, he'd have my vote.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Totally
if you
is.
think about
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That is that somehow Vic Fangio finds this guy and puts him in a position in which he hasn't played, and he gets him at all-pro level play.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, that's
crazy.
remarkable.
Now I know, Eagle fans and every fan base wants to yell at the officials. But how big was the play where the Rams scored the touchdown and the center ended up tackling Campbell in the end zone, and they called it back and they ended up having to kick a field goal. That was enormous too. That changed the game.
It's a good point. I forgot about that. He
Yeah.
literally sumo
was a
wrestled
takedown. It
Jahad
was a
Campbell
takedown,
into
yeah.
the ground, and
Yeah.
they scored on the play. So yes, if they score there,
They didn't even need him to do that to
Right.
score on it either.
and then I think the offense doesn't have the energy and spark they do if they score that touchdown. That would have ended the game. So that's a good point. I
That was
kind
an
of forgot about
enormous
that
play.
That was huge.
Well, there's so many freaking plays. In this
I was
going
going to say this was just a roller coaster, just a trip on drugs.
It's
of a
the same
football
way
game.
as last year, Jason, when we do these post-game shows. There's so many freaking plays that have impact. You're like, man, thank God we take notes.
They've made you sweat in all 3 games. This has been a stressful one-possession win kind of year again.
Yeah.
I remember the Tampa game when Saquon missed catching that ball last year
against the Falcons. Yeah.
Yeah, and they end up losing that game. You're like, oh my God!
The Falcons, who got blown out today, 30-0 by the Panthers.
Wow,
how about that?
That's bad.
Dallas is losing right now, 14-6 to
My
the
Falcons
Bears.
Playoff bet probably not looking great after that.
Not good.
but
Not looking good.
Let's take a timeout. None of us were in the stadium, but I wonder if everybody made it to the second half. We'll talk about that more. Louis is going to tell you about Mazda right after this.
This episode is brought to you by Mazda's Moving the Game Forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, move culture, and keep moving the game forward. This week's moment that moved the game forward clearly is Jordan Davis getting the game-winning blocked field goal to send the Eagles to 3-0, a big win over the Los Angeles Rams to stay undefeated. Jordan Davis was a part of 3 turnovers in the fourth quarter to keep it a 1-score game, a 4th-and-1 stop, and he was a part of 2 blocked field goals back-to-back. I've never seen anything like it. When you follow what moves you, like Jordan Davis moved the football today, the unexpected is only the beginning, and just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved.
How many people you think stayed?
Oh,
Do you think they all
I would
stayed?
hope
I
everybody.
think a lot of people
I think
stayed.
you should have learned your lesson from the Bills-Ravens game of everybody leaving that one just a couple weeks ago.
Could you imagine if you left that game?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, you know, it's not
I feel like
happening.
Eagles fans, they like to stay and let you know how mad they are about the loss. So
Right,
they were all
right.
in there booing. So
I mean,
Yeah,
they were vocal
they're
halftime.
invested either way.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
I'm trying to find the snap count for Jordan Davis in the game. I just want to see how much he played and was able to run that touchdown.
it had to
back.
be over 50 snaps again, I would imagine. And it
It
felt
had
like it.
Because he was consequential on the field the entire time.
How significant is this number, too? Sean McVay is now 1-5 against the Eagles.
That's crazy.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, they
They
beat
beat
him
him
twice
twice
last
last
year.
year.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, they're beating a good coach.
in their
Yeah,
head.
they beat them in
Good coach.
2017, 2018. The only loss they have against LA is that 2020 game which of course was the 4-win season. So Carson Wentz got a win today.
Yeah, I
Speaking
saw
of
that.
2020, so that's
Well,
cool.
he was going up against Jake Browning, thank
Yeah.
goodness. He stinks.
Well, what a marquee matchup.
Trying to
that
get
is.
Tanner McKee traded to Cincinnati, by the way.
Are you working on it, huh?
Yeah, I'm working on that.
Yeah, I love the juxtaposition of the fans in the building in a game like that, because you're there, you spend so much money and time, it's such a production to
And
go
they're
to
booing
an
at
NFL game.
halftime, which they should
Rightfully
have been.
so.
Yeah,
They earned-
rightfully so, exactly.
They earned it, and
4 straight 3-and-outs.
yeah, I mean, it was disgusting. It was like, oh my god, I just wasted a beautiful fall day
I know.
on this. I bought ribs and everything, and
Yeah.
all the money that goes in, and this is what you get. And for some people, they're for the season ticket holder, they go all the time. But
Yeah.
for some people, this is maybe the only game they go to in 5 years, and you go, this is what I came to see. And then that second half happens.
Yeah,
And that's the thing about sports.
And then you'll
You
never
just-
forget that game ever again.
As
exactly.
soon as Goddard scored,
Yeah,
you
it's the
just
Jordan
started to
Davis game, I
swell.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
It is the Jordan Davis
I
game.
think
That's
so,
what I'm
yeah.
calling it. Yeah.
just
I think it is.
remarkable. How much credit do you give in this comeback? I mean, the players play, they execute. Jalen Hurts leads. AJ Brown's such a big factor. Defense keeps them, in the game because they're giving up field goals, not touchdowns. But again, you got to look at Sirianni here. What did he say at halftime? Not only to his players, but to his coaches.
Right.
What's the impact of Sirianni on this game? Because I don't think you can overlook the head coach in a game where you come back like this and do what they did. I didn't hear him post game.
No, I
Go
didn't
back
either.
and watch it, but he won't take the credit. I know that.
No, but he's always positive, and he's always upbeat, and he's always aggressive.
Yeah.
And I think those 3 things right there are exactly, it's sort of the 3 characteristics you need in a leader when you're
Well, the
down.
1 4th down call was Stone's at like the.
Yeah, but he's going to do that. Like,
Yeah.
that's who he is.
That's when McVay didn't take the penalty.
Right.
And
It could have been
third
like
and
3rd
sixth.
and 16 or something, and
could've
made
been-
it
it
like
could've been-
4th and
yep.
6.
Yeah, and it made it 4th and 6th.
Yeah.
Like that. There was a look on McVay's face like, oh my God, he's going to go for it.
Yeah, of course he
Should have
is.
taken the 3rd. Like,
Yeah.
you don't pull the wool over McVay's eyes very much.
No.
He looked
But what do you
ill-prepared for
do?
that to
You're
make
kind
that
of damned
decision.
if you do, damned if you don't, because he's going to go for it if it's like 4th and 5 or less. First of all, 4th and 2, he's
Give
going
him
to do
one
tush
chance to
push.
go.
And 4th and 5, 4th and 6, he might run Jalen Hurts or do something else. Like, he's just so aggressive.
I also did love that they went for it there, even though they didn't get it. Again, this whole game, I was so sick of this football team playing scared and conservative. Yeah. I just like that they went for it and they got aggressive, because it would be understandable if you had, like, at the end of 2019, when you're throwing, there's just practice squad level offense out there. And so you have to play a conservative, don't turn the ball over style of football. But this Eagles offense arguably has like top 5 league history, like all-time talent on it. And for you to play with that kind of mentality is beyond frustrating, even with how good you are as a running offense and how elite you are on defense. So going for it on 4th down even there too, like, showed an aggressive mentality. I want them to get back to. Again, there's a middle ground between playing reckless, but then what they were doing. And so I liked going for it in that spot and trying to keep the momentum. The offense was red hot at the time. It didn't work, but I liked that they went for it.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool, like, moment of the game where both defenses held each other right around midfield. It was really a standoff. It was
a battle.
Cool.
Yeah. See, I think that the lasting part of that is, hey, this is who we are. No matter what, we don't change it. This is our you can't mess with identity. Once you like forge it and build it and all the foundational blocks to build an identity, you can't abandon it. And I think that the players, we didn't get it this time, but we're going to be in this position again, and we know that guy on the sideline is going to still have the same cojones to make that call again, and we are going to get it. So I think it's a machismo thing and an identity thing for this team. And again, the fact that they've gone through under Sirianni, going to a Super Bowl, losing, falling completely apart the one season, coming back, winning the Super Bowl over the Chiefs, that team they lost to, one of the best teams in the history of the NFL, an absolute wagon and a generational team. And they had zero panic in the game.
Yeah.
To me, that is just, you just didn't see any panic. You see teams when they're panicked and they just make awful decisions, happy feet, and just they try and do too much, and then they have a ball stripped on a already net positive play. They didn't do that. They took piece by piece and just had no panic.
Yep.
That's why I hate the 2023 comparisons that I was seeing through the first 2 games, because this team has learned from the Super Bowl loss of 2022, the collapse of 23, even last year going 2-2 to start the year, and everybody, including me, calling for Nick Sirianni's job. I just didn't think, and then this game is a perfect representation of their ability to overcome adversity. I never thought it would get to that level again. But again, there were things on the field they had to correct today. I think that's just Nick Sirianni's kind of culture. Is like, again, he doesn't get a lot of credit for, or, there's a lot of things that he doesn't do, like he doesn't call plays. But this kind of win is a Nick Sirianni win, because without him being your head coach, again, there's a lot of football teams with different kind of cultures and coaches that do not win that game, that do not make that comeback. So I kind of like that we're crediting Sirianni, because I don't see anybody else talking about him. Which is normal. That tends to be the
I think
theme.
If the second half continued as the first half, he'd be calling plays week 4 against Tampa.
I agree.
I was starting to wonder if I should suggest that on the show after the first half of Patullo. I was like, let's try anything.
See, but that's the thing, though. See, with social media, you want to put something out there, like a tweet or whatever it is, and you're like, you can't do that with the NFL, especially with the Eagles.
Nope.
Like, because stuff can change on a dime in this league. It's crazy, and you look like a dope.
Well, you get a hot takes, old takes exposed or whatever. You can't do it. And the thing about it is this: the numbers that Sirianni has put up as an NFL head coach in his first 5 seasons are legendary.
Well, what are they?
He's won 19.
They've won 19 of their last 20
games. 20 games.
Yeah.
I taped an interview on Friday with Ray Didinger, and we know Ray as the ultimate.
He's an encyclopedia.
He's written for America.
Yeah.
The Eagles Encyclopedia. There is nobody that has more knowledge about the Philadelphia Eagles than Ray Didinger. And I asked him in this interview that
I think Joe DeCamera would argue with that, but
yeah. Well, I asked him. I said, Ray, people of a different vintage, like Louis Young, so this feels almost more normal to him. But through the history of people my age, your age, Harry, and even older people like Ray's age, who's 79, the Eagles doing things like this, winning 19 of 20 games.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a run that's very, I don't know what the best run in the history of the NFL is since the merger, but this is insane. 19 of 20 games.
Yeah, you'd have to go back when Miami won every game in '72
Yeah,
to
that was
see
only
what
12,
to
right?
see what
12 game season.
14, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was 14 game season, and then they went into the playoffs and won the Super Bowl. But to see what they did the next year in their first couple games or the previous year in their that would be interesting to compare. I could probably do that, but
in a salary cap NFL with parity.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's great. And how many guys can get injured now because it's even more physical and everything. Like, it's crazy to win 19 of 20 games in today's modern NFL. It's just, I don't even know how to catalog that.
Even for me as a younger Eagles fan, this is crazy territory to be in, because even when they won in 2017, then, they made the playoffs, but they weren't nearly the same football team in 2018 and 2019. 2023, we saw the collapse. So even for the last decade, what they're doing now, these past couple seasons, the level of consistency and winning at a high level, they've found it. Again, there's, like you guys were talking about, I mean, outside of Kansas City and New England, there's very few teams in NFL history that find this level of success, especially, again, 19 of 20 games winning it. And the only loss, by the way, and they're practically undefeated with their starting quarterback in 20 games, because the only loss came when Jalen Hurts got concussed in the first quarter, and they were winning when they got hurt. If he's not concussed, the Eagles could be 20 of 20, in their last 20 with Jalen Hurts. It's ridiculous.
That is insane. I mean, this is like Alabama.
Right.
In collegiate football, where it's they had a huge advantage.
All right. The
never seen anything like it.
1972 Dolphins won their 14 regular season games in a row, which we know. Then they won 3 playoff games, including the Super Bowl. So that's 17 in a row. They lost their last game in 71 in the playoffs. Then they won their first game the next season and then lost to Oakland.
So 18 of
week
19.
2, so 18.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
unbelievable.
Incredible. Yep. I mean, and again, this is in 2025 in the modern NFL to be this dominant. And look, they're just not the Eagles' schedule is brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal. I mean, you've played Kansas City.
It does not get easier. Yeah. And LA. You've played two of the teams you played in the postseason last year already. And a division rival who looks solid on offense, at least, competitive.
Good. Yeah.
What a remarkable start to the season. Well, let's take our last time out and we'll discuss what being 3-0 and being 3-0 in the fashion the Eagles are 3-0 is what we're going to discuss right after this. And we'll get to some of the viewer and listener comments as well. We're back after this. It's the Eagles Squad Show as the Eagles beat the Rams in dramatic fashion. All right, let me tell you about FanDuel, because if you had Birds players today, you had fun. The NFL season, it is well underway. We're in week 3. And FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff each and every week with a can't-miss offer. If you're not in on the action already, well, it's time. Now's the time. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, this is low risk, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Did you hear that? If you bet $5 and your bet wins, and I just go money line on the Eagles, 19 to 20, it seems like a pretty safe bet. You're going to get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. What a great deal. FanDuel app, simple to use. It fits however you like to bet. And this is an old school where you got to do just money lines or a parlay or a teaser. No, you can do all kinds of stuff. Player props, always fun. Building in the same game parlay, always fun. Building in multiple teams parlay, even multiple sports, even jumping in live as the action unfolds. Imagine after the first half, you had some kind of crystal ball that I didn't have and thought the Eagles were going to win that game and bet the Eagles. Imagine the odds you got. They would have been astronomical. Or when you see the Eagles start to come back, then you make that bet and they come all the way back. Absolutely. You get a feel for the game. So you got to check out the live betting. It's unbelievable. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. It's quick, easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to your Sundays. You got to check it out. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. Again, that's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet and get $300 in bonus bets at FanDuel.com. All right, 3-0. Three games played, 3 wins. They'll be back at it next week. We'll worry about next week when we get to the midweek squad show. Although we might discuss it a little bit here when they go to Tampa, steamy Tampa. But what does 3-0 mean in the grand scheme of things? It means obviously they're sitting at the top of the standings in the NFC.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're the class of the division. Dallas is losing right now to the Bears. Washington won today with a backup quarterback, which was pretty interesting, and they won convincingly. So that I think that's kind of interesting. The Giants will probably get their what's kicked in by the Chiefs, who need a win badly tonight. So the division, I don't think is
and
really
Tampa undefeated next week. By the way, they're playing.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying from the division standpoint, everything looks as it should. Tampa's good, man. Baker Mayfield is freaking good, and I have been reluctant to give him a lot of credit, but he has found a home. I think Todd Bowles is a good football coach. They're a good team, and that's a tough place to play at a 1:00 game when it's still 4 degrees and humid down there in September. And it always seems to be that the Eagles go there the end of September when it's still really hot. Yep. So that's going to be a really tough game. So they were very fortunate to find a way to win today.
And they're probably going to have to wear their green jerseys like always.
Oh, yeah.
2018, 2024, 2023. Yeah, it feels like it happens every single year. 2021 in the playoffs, too. But I think at 3-0, like you look at the NFC, and as you guys mentioned, Tampa Bay is really good. Even though Green Bay had a weird loss today, I still think they're a really good football team.
Good.
Yeah, and I think the Rams proved today clearly
they're good.
They're a good football team. So I don't always want to say a win is a win. I think how you win also matters. Like they had to win in the style they did today, I think, to move forward and still be a Super Bowl contender, to be like the team in the conference to beat. But wins are wins in this conference right now, because if you do want the 1 seed, which we've seen every Eagles Super Bowl run, how important home field advantage is, like you have to rack up these W's and get these head-to-head tiebreakers.
Until they get a dome, then it won't matter.
Right. But like right now it does, and you play all of these top teams in the conference. Luckily, you've already beaten LA. You've got Tampa next week. You do have Green Bay later on in the season. So these games, especially that they're winning, are crucial because they're against teams you're going to be competing for a title.
Yeah. Niners are 2-0 right now going up against
and they play the Cardinals today,
Arizona.
So they could be 3-0.
They're up 6-3. They're up 6-3, the Niners are.
Yeah. So that's another big...
Their schedule does not get harder at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I still think
easy.
Detroit's pretty good.
I agree. Yeah. Last week kind of put me back on them for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I think that may not be the last time the Eagles see the Rams again this year.
No.
I don't think
really.
I think they'll see them
just
again.
like last year, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to be charged with dealing with Mike Evans? Quinyon?
I think in this game, I don't know though. Mika Ibuka is incredible. He looks like the Rookie of the Year favorite right now so far. I mean, that one-handed catch he had today is unbelievable. So,
Ohio
and
State,
Godwin's gonna be back soon. So Tampa's they're loaded. I agree with Harry too. Like I also was kind of slow to recognize Baker as like a true elite franchise quarterback, but I think he is. I think it's time to call a spade a spade. Like,
he's found a
good.
home. Yeah, he's found a home.
He's a gamer too, you know.
Yeah.
Next week is another week that I'm kind of worried about that third corner spot, because it's like you can't. If you're going to keep DeJean in the slot, Quinyon can't shadow 2 different players. So I don't know what you do. Maybe this is the week they decide to change something up and sign a veteran free agent or make a trade. But that third spot is very concerning to me.
Yep.
Baker Mayfield has no interceptions going into week 4 as well.
Is that right?
Yeah. He's 5 touchdowns, no picks.
Yeah.
So, again, the teams, you look at their record. They don't turn the ball over. Mm-hmm. You just don't. But I agree with what Louis said out of the hop. Like the Eagles, it was almost like Jalen Hurts was just trying to make a point. Like, I'm never going to turn the ball over.
Yeah.
And being too safe about
it. He took it too far.
You got to put it at risk sometimes. And today was the
I don't even like saying at risk. Like giving AJ Brown a chance one-on-one. I don't even think it's
at risk.
I don't even call that a risk. Don't throw the football in triple coverage to him. Right. Yeah, like that. Don't be Jameis Winston or Carson Wentz. But there is a big middle ground that Jalen has found in his career too. Like in the past, he's been very good at walking that fine line. It just felt like you're right, Jason. This year, it felt like he was just all he cared about was I'm not turning the football over at all means necessary. Sometimes an interception on a one-on-one go ball to Devontae Smith in the end zone is okay. Like I'll live with that play because a lot of the times that elite receiver is going to make that catch. So that's why I think today was so important. Like, yeah, I think this kind of reconfirmed to Jalen, like, hey, you can play aggressive and it can work. Like, that's what got them this win today.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Let's go through some of the comments. Jeremy Van Skyver says, you're getting everyone's best effort every week. Kudos to these guys. And right, the Eagles are a measuring stick for everybody.
Especially the teams trying to get revenge. I mean, it felt like the Rams all week made that feel like the narrative. So,
yeah. I mean, that's tremendous. You're talking about the Packers, man. Packers lost to the Browns.
Yeah.
That's a huge loss.
That
could be a very consequential loss for the Packers.
You don't want to go to Lambeau in January. That's
not
huge.
in conference, though, at least for them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But it is a bad loss.
Bam also says Fred Johnson absolutely changed his game. You got to give tip of the hat to Howie Roseman there as well, but for making that acquisition. Praxis jumps in and says, hey, love you guys. Rarely get to see you all live. Well, we're glad to be seen.
What the heck's your problem, Praxis?
Yeah.
Where you been, bro?
Let's go here.
Come on.
Well,
I'm
Jeremy
still alive.
Why was Pryor in there over Fred Johnson to begin with? Well,
that was probably the plan.
He was here before.
Goes down, he's the guy, and now they know. Now they know different.
It's weird because Pryor wasn't even a tackle normally.
No, he's a guard.
Normally a guard. So why that was their first decision?
Weird.
It's not like Fred Johnson. I know he's back. He's only been back for a few weeks, but he was with the team all of last year and was their primary swing tackle. So that was a weird decision to begin with.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you agree, Louis, with
Louis?
I do, but it feels like I'm the only one that agrees. I think Howie agrees with me, but Vic, the guy that truly matters, does not want him on the field.
Well, maybe next week?
I don't know what's going to take.
I mean, we actually see it. I mean,
if I was Howie, I would just release everyone else so he has no choice but to put Ringo. Like, you're going to put my guy in. Yeah, sorry, you don't. Bennett's not here anymore. Jackson's gone. You got to play Ringo.
Look for a big play next week by Drew Makuba, by the way.
Yeah, he was silent today.
Yeah. There wasn't much there today. Look, sometimes you don't hear a guy, and that's good. You know,
I'll say in the secondary, that's normally not a bad thing.
Yeah. But he's a guy that's going to be around the ball, so look for a big play next week from him. Yeah, he'll be a guy that maybe he'll have a say. It's hard to believe that we're saying, the Eagles are trying to go to 4-0, and he could be the guy, the difference maker next week. What's the line on the game next week, Harry? Do you have it already?
Oh, let me see.
I mean, hitting the road for the Eagles.
Bucks are probably favored.
Check. Yeah, I would think
2.5?
So.
2.5? Sounds about right. It's a pick 'em, basically.
There's no line right here on this.
Yeah.
I got no line right now.
Is there, last thing for us here, and we'll just get quick thoughts on Thought Bubble. Is there concern about the lack of overall production for Saquon?
No. I think there was until they had the passing success, because then you did start to see things open up. Yeah. In the fourth quarter, he had a couple nice runs, whereas before that, there was just no space. I think it was a direct result of the passing inefficiency, so I'm not concerned now. If they didn't have that second half performance,
I would be a little.
For sure. The big plays certainly aren't there as much, but you can clearly see defenses are saying, you can beat us any other way, but your 26 isn't going to gash us. So maybe that'll change after that performance, but like Jason said earlier, like the passing game has to keep doing that now, though, because even last year, they did hit explosives that back things up. Teams couldn't always stack the box, whereas this year they've been so one-dimensional that they've been able to. So I'm not as concerned anymore. But we'll see.
I'm not concerned. I'm
trying to see where
he doesn't look a step slow or anything like that.
Right. I don't think there's anything about Saquon I'm nervous about. He doesn't look hurt.
Right.
So
when it comes to rushing yards allowed per game, Cleveland only allows 45.5. That's insane. Tampa Bay is fifth in the NFL, only allowing 76.5 rushing yards per game.
Might have to be a passing game kind of game again.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Interesting.
Well, we can't wait till the third quarter to see A.J. Brown.
I was going to say, I was almost frustrated with how much success they had on the first drive when they started to throw the ball. They hit Brown down the right sideline and then got her in the touchdown the very next play. I'm like, where has this been for 2.5 games?
Yeah.
It was almost irritating that it instantly worked.
Right.
It's like, are you kidding me?
Because every fan, that's the thing. Every fan in the stands was saying the same freaking thing.
Right. So it made us all feel like geniuses.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's not make this too confusing.
Exactly.
Gruden's going like, what are you doing here?
Hey, sometimes it is that simple. Just get the football to your best player. I mean, that seems pretty simple and effective.
Yeah, I mean, next week to me, I think this is one of those games too where A.J. Brown sees Mike Evans on the other side, and I think he goes, he's the best in the game. He's one of the best. Let me show you who's the best.
Well, this is a rematch.
Even though they don't go against each other.
Quinyon Mitchell, remember when he went after Evans, like basically taunting him, like he was kind of in his face.
Yeah,
this is a good one.
It's gonna be a great one. 1 o'clock game next week, Harry.
Yeah.
So we'll be
loving these 1 o'clock games.
Basically on the same schedule next week. We'll be around midweek for the Eagles squad show as well, as the Eagles move to 3-0. Thanks for making Locked On Eagles Squad Show your first listen every day. Checking out Louis every day to begin your day, like a cup of coffee, or maybe a cappuccino for Louis. The NFL season is underway, and for your second listen, get a double dose of Locked On NFL podcast with Tyler the Madman Rowland as he gives you a shot of espresso to start your football day, while Tony Wiggins takes you into the barbershop for the smoothest breakdowns to end the day. Find Locked On NFL on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. This was a lot of fun today. Eagles 3-0, which is great stuff to see, no doubt about it. We'll be back coming up midweek. Check Louis out every day. Everybody, have a great couple of days, and we'll talk to you next time on the Eagles Squad Show.